Hey, Suzanne Sobers here, coming to you from my home office in Bridgetown, Barbados. It's a very rainy day today in Bridgetown, in Barbados. Today, I want to talk to you about how to pay yourself from your business and how to set up a money system for your business, for your online business, that enables you to keep more of what you earn. And I have some slides. I'm going to share my screen and go through a few tips that I want to share today. So just let me share my screen and get that pulled up here. And we're going to get started. So let's get that up. Right. Now, I did a previous training on this topic before, but because of my experience of how things have actually been working in our industry, and what's really been happening with a lot of people, I've decided to do a follow-up video on this that will help to give more clarity on this topic, because I see so many of my fellow entrepreneurs making a lot of mistakes in this area, and these are mistakes that have the potential to harm your business and to put everything that you are working so hard to build at risk. So I think it's vitally important to share this message, to share this information with as many people in this industry as I possibly can. And if it helps to save even one person from financial disaster, then I think that that would be worth it for me. I also have a free gift I want to offer you today, and I'll tell you how you can access that a little bit later. So let's get on to the topic that we want to cover today. Now, first of all, I want to say the concepts that I'm going to be sharing here with you today are not new. I didn't invent them, certainly. I do come from a financial and accounting background, and these are principles that I would have learned through a combination of my experience in that field, as well as some things that I've learned along the way from being in business myself in this online business industry, and also from business mentors, specifically people like T. Harv Eker, who is the author of the book Millionaire Mindset, people like Vic Strizos, who is a multi-million dollar earner in this online business industry, and people like Tracy Walker. So these are a few of the mentors who I would have learned a lot of this information from, as well as my own experience that I would have gathered being an online business entrepreneur myself. Now, I also want to give a disclaimer here, because I want to say I'm not giving any tax or legal advice to you here today. And I strongly recommend that you consult with your professional advisors who will advise you on the best course of action for your particular circumstances, depending on the state and country that you live in. Because what I will share with you today are concepts and principles that are applicable to most of the tax and legal systems that we operate in today. So these are common basic fundamentals that will help you to put your business on that sound footing if you choose to apply them. And my hope is that what I share here will help you to avoid some of the most common mistakes that people make when they get started in business online. And hopefully this will help you to get a little further along the track, a little faster, to building a business that will stand the test of time and help you to establish your own strong financial legacy for generations to come. So first of all, let's go over some assumptions here so that just so we can set the context in which I'm sharing this information. So we're assuming that your business is making money or that it will be making money, since none of us start out in business with an idea that we're not going to be making money. So I think we can safely assume all of us are in this to make money. And whatever the underlying reason is that we want the money for, we get started in business with the intention of making money. So the first thing we want to do is establishing a money system. And this is a system of allocating the money that you earn according to the specific purposes that it is going to be used for in your business. And we can simply call this budgeting. But first of all, before we even get into that, I want to make sure that you start with a properly structured business entity, and you will want to consult with a professional accountant, financial or tax advisor, and or your attorney. But you need to get your business set up properly from the beginning, from the get-go. Get a business tax ID and open your business accounts with your business tax ID. Now, if you've already started in business and you haven't done this, then you need to consult with your professionals as soon as possible and get this done. Otherwise, you can be placing yourself at a disadvantage, because the way the system is structured in most countries, there are advantages to operating as a legal business entity rather than as an individual. But you have to set it up properly and you have to play the game according to the rules. So what you're going to do, or what I suggest that you do, is to open a number of separate business checking accounts, and all of which will be linked to your business tax ID. So you can have a number of categories, and we're going to get into that in a minute, like how you determine that you can set up separate accounts for, which will help you to more easily allocate the money that you earn for the specific purposes. Now, why separate your money in this way? Now, most people get started in a business, they set up one account for the business, which all the money from their commissions, their sales, whatever they got going on, going to this account. And all the monthly operating expenses, the marketing, the travel, everything that has to be paid comes out of this account. And in the worst cases that I've seen, some people may not even set up a business account. They might just have everything going through their personal account and have all the personal life expenses and the business expenses and everything all mixed up in one. And you definitely don't want to do that. But what ends up happening with a lot of people is that they manage their business according to the balance that they see in the account. And then when periodic expenses crop up that don't usually happen every month, but they do come up, for example, you have taxes, you might have travel, etc., then they may find themselves short. So allocating the money that you earn towards things that you know you're going to have to cover in business, whether or not they're regular monthly expenses or if they're less frequent expenses, this is a simple way to cultivate those disciplined habits that will place your business on a solid foundation financially. Now, remember, your business should fund your business. Don't ever take money from your business and use it for personal expenses. You need to decide on a reasonable salary that you're going to pay yourself and stick to that. Now, we're going to come back to this later, to how you decide how much to pay yourself. But once you transfer that amount to your personal account or write yourself that check, then you go ahead and pay your personal expenses like your personal mortgage or your rent, your clothes, your groceries, your hairdresser appointments, whatever, from that. Now, this requires some discipline, But if you truly want to free yourself financially, then this is what you have to do. If you keep dipping into your business account and taking out money and spending it for personal things and have everything all mixed up, first of all, you're leaving your business at a deficit for the next month or the coming months, and you won't be able to make decisions that will be in the best interest of your business, because what ends up happening in most cases is that your decisions will become based on the lack of resources that you have. And you really shouldn't be taking money from your personal account either to pay for business expenses. So you see, you should have two clear and distinct separate entities. And you want to do that also from a legal and tax standpoint as well, because you don't want to run into any problems with your tax authorities where they can kind of like challenge you to say that what you're doing is not really a legitimate business, and then you end up getting taxed at a higher rate or at a different as a different type of structure than what you really optimally would want to have for your business. So don't commingle your business and personal expenses. You need to keep your records clean. Otherwise, you can run the risk of getting into problems with your taxes, and nobody wants that. Right. So this is what your breakdown, your allocation should look like. This is just an example. So all your commissions or earnings from your business will go into your operating account. And from there, you will do your allocation of your money to the other accounts that you would have set up according to their respective purposes. So in this example, we have 6 accounts, including the main operating account. And we have taxes at 20%, gifting or charity 10%, savings 10%, marketing 10%. 20%, sorry, for marketing, travel 10%, and then your other operating costs that are left in the main account are 30%. And this operating cost account is going to cover all your monthly regular costs, subscriptions, hosting fees, website costs, your personal salary, and any other payroll costs that you have. If you have assistants or virtual assistants, that comes out of there also. But those are the things that will come out of your main account. But these other like other main categories of the significant expenses that you know your business is going to be having on an ongoing basis, these are the ones that you want to allocate specific accounts, and do this as a regular discipline allocation of the money that you earn into these accounts. Now, the specific percentages may vary according to the particular circumstances of the business, depending on the niche you're in, where you're located, like what country, what state, the way your entity is structured, and the specific tax requirement for that. And of course, you're going to be consulting with your professional accountant or advisor to make sure that you're allocating the appropriate amounts for your circumstances. But this will give you an illustration of the type of pattern that you should follow in allocating the costs and what you need to be doing. So let's take an example here. Say your business generates $10,000 a month. Then your breakdown would look like taxes, $2,000. So you're going to write a check from if the end of the month comes and you have made $10,000 for that last month. You're going to write some checks and you're going to put $2,000 in your taxes account, $1,000 for gifting, $1,000 for savings, $2,000 for marketing, and $1,000 for travel. And then you're left with $3,000 in your main operating account to cover all your other costs, including your payroll. We can have another example. Say you're making twice that, you make $20,000 a month. Then you have now an example of what your numbers would look like based on the same percentage of allocations, right? So basically, as I said before, these percentages are not cast in stone. These are just examples that will vary from business to business, depending on factors like where you're located, the tax laws there, how much it actually costs to cover your regular operating expenses. But there are some categories that you should stick to the recommended percentages that I've given here. For example, your gifting account and your savings account. But the ones that may vary a little would be like your taxes, depending on where you are, operating costs, depending on your particular type of business, and maybe after your business starts to earn or generate larger amounts of revenue, you may be able to save on some of your costs. On for instance, on marketing costs, you might be able to gain economies of scale, like getting lower prices for ordering a larger amount or larger blocks of advertising at once, but so you can make savings on like volume and so on. But also and of course you need to consult with your accountant about this, but you may want also to cap your personal salary at a particular amount after it reaches a certain level, because that may make sense for you from a tax point of view as well. But the important thing here is to develop that discipline and stick to good financial and business habits. So let's go through the specific allocations, right? So the first thing is the taxes account. You know you're going to have to pay taxes. And in our example, we've allocated 20% for taxes. Now, I did this based on some statistics that I looked up, and I know that there is a figure out there that says that 19.4% or so of small businesses, no, not, that small businesses in general, on average, pay a percentage of 19.4% in taxes. So we use 20% as our example here for taxes, but this percentage can vary from business to business, from place to place, country to country, state to state. But a lot of people get into trouble. But the thing is to set aside that percentage after you consult with your accountant or what have you. But lots of people get into trouble with this because with a business, unlike with the income from a regular job, taxes are not deducted before you receive your money, which is a good thing. So you get all the money up front, then you pay out your expenses. So you're left with a profit, hopefully. But then because the taxes are not deducted from the money before you receive it, now you have to exercise a greater level of discipline and responsibility if you don't want to end up in trouble. You know that the tax bill is surely going to come. So if you don't save enough towards taxes from every dollar that you earn, then this can quickly become a huge nightmare for you. So make sure that you allocate a percentage of what you earn for taxes and keep yourself out of trouble, keep that peace of mind, and keep your business on a sound, solid footing. Okay, now the next thing we want to look at is the gifting or charity account. And we set aside 10% for that. And I would recommend that you do this regardless of whatever type of business that you're in, that you don't deviate from this figure, 10%. There's something about money that we need to understand and remember. Now, money is energy. We need to be comfortable with money if we want to attract more money. A lot of people are stuck in life. No matter how good they are, they just can't seem to hold on to money, even though sometimes they may even be making a lot of money, because a lot of people are really uncomfortable about money. And there's something very important that I learned, and I want to pass it on to you today. If you want to have money in abundance, you cannot be afraid of money. Remember, money is made when you match the right solution to the person that has a problem or need that you can solve with your product or your service. So you have to have something of value that you can sell that to a person who it will help because they have a need for that specific thing. So then they are willing to pay for that solution. You need also to be comfortable with receiving the money and be comfortable with spending money, although you're not going to spend it frivolously, and also be comfortable with gifting other people. Things like leaving tips, letting other people know financially you appreciate them, giving to worthy causes, giving to charities. Now, I believe we are blessed with abundance in order that we can be a blessing to someone else. Now, there's something that happens subconsciously when we give. We can never give something if we think we really need it to survive. So, if we form the habit of giving, then subconsciously we're telling our mind that there's more than enough for me. I'm going to be all right. Therefore, I can afford to give to someone else. And some people do this without even realizing what they're doing. But what they are doing is cultivating in themselves a mindset of abundance, cultivating that belief that there will be more for them. And that energy attracts more abundance into your life. So, another bonus about giving money from a business perspective is in a lot of cases, of course, you're going to check with your accountant to make sure that you're doing this in the right way. But your charitable donations may also be a tax write off. So you can save on taxes because of the amounts that you give or donate. Right. The next allocation we want to look at is the savings. And this is a very, very important account. Now, we've allocated 10%, and I suggest that you do not deviate from this, that you should allocate at least 10% of every dollar that you earn into your savings account. Now, this account is not necessarily a savings account in the normal sense of the word. This is another checking account that you're going to set up, a business account, for the purpose of putting aside a percentage of your income for such things as significant unforeseen costs or investment into new opportunities that can help expand and increase your business. All businesses go through ups and downs, and your business will at some point in time experience a low cycle. So, if this is prolonged or significant, you may not be able then to meet all of your usual expenses from the designated accounts that you have set up for that. So, this is when you will make a strategic business decision to make a transfer, for example, say to your operating account from your savings to cover the shortfall. But you will need in this case to be fully aware of what it is you're doing and not just keeping everything all lumped together and not really keeping track of what's going on until sometime later in the year you have your accounts done. By then, it may be too late to take corrective action on something that would have been affecting your business adversely. Now, remember, the business that has a reserve of capital that can help to tide you through rough times is the business that is most likely to survive and to thrive. And similarly, if you consistently reserve a percentage of your revenue for savings, you'll be much better placed to take advantage now of greater business opportunities that other business owners who perhaps fail to exercise the same discipline with their money will probably have to forego. So you should allocate 10 cents out of every dollar that you earn to your savings account. Now you also have your marketing account, and we've allocated 20% of your earnings to marketing. Now, in an online business, marketing is the single biggest expense that you will have. If you want to scale and grow your business quickly, you will need a marketing budget. And I recommend that when you're just starting out, that you put at least 20% of your gross earnings towards marketing. Don't spend this money on other things and then have nothing or very little left to do the very thing that is going to help to propel your business forward and take it to the next level. Okay, so now we come to travel and travel account. This amount can vary from business to business, and there may be some businesses that may not even need to have this as a significant expenses. But in our online business space, in most of the business models in this space, there's usually going to be some sort of travel involved at some point in time. Whether you're doing affiliate marketing, direct sales, network marketing, all of these companies will hold live events for their affiliates or distributors at least once a year. Some will even have their events quarterly, and these events are usually a combination of training for affiliates and team members and recognition and reward of the top performers in the company. So even if your business is not in one of these models, you may still have the need for travel, for meetings with other business or joint venture partners, sourcing and establishing connections and relationships with suppliers of products or services that your business needs, especially when your business starts to grow. Maybe you might want to be attending training courses or masterminds to develop your own skills and expertise in your chosen niche. And if your business has reached a certain level or size, you may even want to be sending your employees for training. And if you've reached a certain level in your business or in your industry, you may even be traveling to an event as a trainer or a speaker yourself. So, since it is very likely that you will be traveling on business, and this tends to be a significant cost in most businesses in the online space at least once a year, this is a cost that you will have to budget and allocate funds on an ongoing basis towards, so that when these events come up, you don't have to be now struggling to fund that, or worse, deciding not to go and attend because you don't have money available to cover the cost of the travel or cover the cost of the event tickets, uh, what have you. Okay. Now, the benefits of attending the events and traveling to attend events in this industry can these events can be critical to your business. For one, you're able to meet in person and interact with the people who you want to be mentored by and learn from. And this is a little different to just watching them on a video on your computer. That personal interaction can be very, very important. At least periodically, you want to do that. Also, some of the most lucrative business relationships and partnerships in our industry have their beginnings at events. So, this is where networking happens, this is where contacts are made, and meeting periodically with other people in your business, in your company, or your team also helps to counter that feeling of isolation that some online marketers will experience when they're working from home. They're not necessarily having that everyday interaction with other people in the business, in the industry, and other like minded entrepreneurs. So, in a sense, traveling to these events is a way to recharge your batteries, to renew your vision, to renew your inspiration and belief in the business, and avoid getting discouraged, especially if you're facing some challenges in your business. Okay, so now we're left with the operating account, and we're left in this example with a total of 30% of your revenue remaining in this account. And this will cover all your other costs. And these include all your regular monthly expenses, your subscriptions for the tools and systems that you need for your business. For example, hosting for websites, payroll expenses, including your own salary, as well as any expenses for any employees or personal assistants or virtual assistants that you might have, or services that you might outsource. All of this will come from your regular operating account. Now, you're going to transfer also an amount. You're going to fix an amount that you're going to pay yourself. And we're going to talk a little more about that later. Um, but you're going to transfer that amount after you've decided on what that's going to be to your personal account, or write a check to yourself, and that's your salary. And then you will then turn around and pay your personal expenses like your mortgage or your rent, your gas for your car, your hairdresser appointment, your grocery, whatever, all your personal normal expenses, just as you would do if you were to, if you're earning like a salary from a regular job. You're going to pay your personal bills from that. You're also going to do that from the salary that you pay yourself, but you're not going to just take the money from your business account and use it to cover your personal costs and mix up everything. That's no and something that you want to avoid. Now, I want to, before we go on, I want to sound a note of caution about the savings account, because there may be the temptation, and I want you to not get into the habit of just dipping into this account and paying things from it when things look as though they're going to get like a little bit tight. Every, just regularly just dipping into that and taking funds and paying things. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is to do a proper analysis of the situation. If, like, say that you're experiencing a sustained, like a prolonged low cycle, and maybe you will enlist the help of your professional accountant to help you decide like exactly what you need to do. But then you will make an executive decision to transfer the amount that you estimate would be necessary to the specific account that is short, and then for that type of cost, and then you will make your payments in the usual way. So you don't just pay things from the savings account. What you do is transfer to the account that is required, and then you make your regular payments from that account. And you may also pay for a new business investment from this account. But then once you've done that, you've decided that how much you're going to invest in that particular investment, and then you will set that up then in the normal fashion where all the revenue that's flowing in from that investment would follow your usual sequence of allocation. So now we get to the good part. How do you pay yourself, and how do you decide how much you're going to pay yourself? So you're going to pay yourself from your operating account, as I said, but and you have to understand that you cannot work for free. You are expected in a legitimate business to make a reasonable compensation for your efforts. You cannot starve yourself into wealth. And if you're planning on eventually working in your business full time and freeing yourself from a job, which a lot of people get involved in this online business space with that in mind, that they want to replace a job income from their business, you have to be able to pay yourself from your business. And once you've decided on the amount that you're going to pay yourself, then you're going to stick to that and make that payment every month from your business operating account to your personal checking account, or write yourself the check. Now, when you're just starting out, you may not know how much your business can really afford to pay you. So maybe you might need to start off by setting this, say, at a percentage of your business revenue. But then once things level off and you get into a regular cycle, then you can see and you can set the amount of your fixed salary and stick to that amount until your business is in a position where you can truly afford to increase it without affecting the long-term viability of your business in an adverse manner. So you're gonna like do an analysis of your business over the first few months that you're in business, and you will be able to establish like what the normal level of revenue is, what the normal cycle is, and you will be able then to have a better idea of what you can realistically afford to pay yourself. And once you've done that, then you should really also do a similar breakdown for your personal income, allocating it to the different purposes that are important in your life as well, similar to what you're doing here for your business. But that's a topic for another video, another day. But today we are discussing how you're going to allocate your business income. Okay, so there are some factors that you need to consider when you're deciding how much to pay yourself. So first off is you've got to be realistic with this number. So if your business is making $1,000 a week, or you cannot be paying yourself $1,000 or maybe even not $500 a week, you have to come up with a number that is sustainable, something that you're comfortable with, that you can stick to. If you're paying yourself, say, if you really can afford to pay yourself $1,000 a week when you've done all your other allocations, and that's what the number that you've settled on, and you have a week or a couple weeks where, say, you have a surge in sales or commissions, you can't just now decide, okay, I'm going to increase my salary, I'm going to start paying myself $2,000 a week or $5,000 a week. No, because what happens when things level off or go back down to what they usually are? Because all businesses have cycles. You'll be setting yourself up for disappointment mentally. And worse, you're also making your accounting messy, putting yourself at risk for harm, financial harm. So always try to keep your business finances clean. Don't have anything going on that could potentially cause someone to question the legitimacy of your business. And if you're in the business full time, meaning this is your livelihood, this amount that you're setting aside to be your personal salary has to be able to comfortably cover your personal living expenses, your normal bills, pay for your groceries, your gas for your car, etc. And as I said, if you're just starting out, you may not yet know like what your business can afford, but because you're now building up to that regular cycle and you're now building that momentum. So you can decide initially to set aside a percentage, and then once you've leveled out at a particular cycle of business, then you fix that amount and stick to that. Now, understanding this is extremely important, because if you're looking at, especially if you're looking at your business as a way to free you from your job, a way to create financial freedom in your life, you have to be able to replace the income that you're making at your job with the income that you can realistically pay yourself from your business in a sustainable way. So at what point can you leave your job? You see, this is a mistake that so many people make. You ask them, how much do you need to be able to leave your job? How much do you need to be making? And if they're getting paid $3,000 a month at their job, they'll tell you you need to be making $3,000 a month. And they're expecting that the moment their business starts to generate $3,000 a month in sales revenue, or commissions that they can go on in and fire their boss. And we see a lot of the marketing hyped up in our industry, unfortunately, that tend to give this misleading impression also. But what happens is that then these people end up struggling and finding themselves in all sorts of trouble, and then may even have to, after leaving, try to go back out there and find a job to help, get them through financially. You don't want to be having to do that. So the number that you have to consider when making the decision is, how much can my business realistically, consistently pay me on a monthly basis after I've made all the proper allocations to cover the legitimate business costs. So until you're generating enough from your business that this figure can consistently maintain your personal living expenses, you may be better off holding on to your job, building your business part time until you get to that level where you can walk away. You don't end up being a struggling self employed person when you may not have really been struggling all that much on your job income. So, what you want to do is to give yourself time to build up your business, time to build your skills that you will need to really grow and expand your business. And don't do things that's going to cause you unnecessary stress and hardship down the line. So, this is what I wanted to share with you today. I really hope you enjoyed the video and that the information that I shared here with you today will help you to get your business organized in the way that will be beneficial financially for you in the long term. So let me know what you think about this in the comments. Of course, feel free to share this video with your friends who you think might find value in it. And I also want to let you know today, I do appreciate you. Thank you for watching all the way through to the end. And now I want to offer you that free gift that I mentioned. I've just published a new ebook on how to set up your online business for success. And I believe the information that I cover inside this ebook will be of immense value to new and aspiring online business owners. So if you haven't yet, you can go ahead and go over to www.susanjoy.com to download that free ebook. And that website, I have it up on the screen, so you can go there and download your free ebook. Also, if you want to stay tuned, if you've enjoyed this video, if this information has been helpful to you, and you want to stay tuned for more content like this, more tips like this to help you build your online business successfully, then you can connect with me on Facebook, and you can also check out my blog at www.susansobers.com. That is susansobers.com. You can see the link on the screen. So until next time, this is Suzanne Sobers, and I'll see you soon in another video.